This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the RMC support group for uh, this month of July. I'm glad to see everyone's faces this evening. Hope everyone is doing well. Um, just gonna go around and see if anybody got anything to add or say to the group if you got any questions. So we're just gonna go around and kick it off that way, okay? Um, Leon, good evening. Do you got anything to add to the group or any questions or anything you would like to talk about this evening?
Not as of yet. I'm just more trying to settle in and see what it's all about. So it's an interesting, like I said, it's important to having the support group for RMC because we don't have it over here in the UK. So
Okay. Is
this
this
is really
your,
nice.
is this your, I'm sorry, is this your first meeting with the group?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
For any sort of support groups, again, it's not something that we have much in the UK. So yeah.
Okay. Well, if you can you give us a quick introduction and tell us your connection to RMC?
Well, so my name's Leon. So basically, I've been diagnosed last September, so September, October. So yeah, it was a bit of an unfortunate process for me, in respects that I had signs many months beforehand, but unfortunately, it was missed over here. So yeah, so basically, I'm here trying to do or find different ways of being able to help myself. Really, still getting a bit of treatment here in the UK at the minute. But yeah, it's a tricky one because we just don't. It's not. It's more rare here than it is in the US. So yeah, it's a lot of learning for me at the minute about what I have and how it affects me, etc. So yeah, it's a moving piece for me at the minute.
Okay. Well, we just want to welcome you to the RMC support group. We are here for you. We are here for each other. So don't hesitate if you got any questions or any concerns about anything. We'll be happy to help you. This is what
Definitely.
the group is all about. So thank you for sharing and thank you for being with the group tonight.
Thank you.
Uh, is it Jack? Is it Jackie? Am I saying that's correct?
Yeah, Jack or Jackie.
Okay. Is this your first meeting with the group?
It is my first meeting with the group. I've come to support Leon
Okay.
because, yeah, it's first time being in a support group and possibly doing virtual like this.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
welcome to the group. Having a strong support system that's very important. During the cancer journey. So we're glad to have you with us this evening.
thank you very
Um,
much for having me.
so I guess we can kind of introduce ourselves to you guys. So I'll start off and tell you how my connection with RMC. So my name is Andre Sneed. Um, I was diagnosed with RMC back in April 2019. Um, so yeah, 3 years ago. Definitely was a struggle for me. My first procedure was kidney removal, so I had my kidney removed. Um, I was actually stationed in Washington D.C. and had that procedure done at Walter Reed. Then I transferred to MD Anderson under the care of Dr. Pavlos Masal. Um, so he has treated me since around June 2019. Um, I've been through several different chemo treatments, immunotherapy, radiation, pretty much all of it. And I got my first clear scan in October 2020. So my scan's been clear ever since. Um, so yeah, so I'm living proof that Leon, you definitely can beat this thing or whatever. Um, Not an easy journey, but one that you definitely can beat. I actually I have a scan in August, and I finally get a chance to ring the bell in August. So it'll be around 2 years. So I'll be around the 2 year mark. So the further you get away from this thing without having the cancer reoccur, the better chances you have of really having a sustained long sustained life. So um, that's kind of my backstory, quick quick version of my backstory, but most definitely I can tell you all about it anytime. Or if you have any additional questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you. Um, Carissa, do you want to introduce yourself to Leon? Kind of give your connection to RMC.
Yes. Hi, Leon. Um, I'm Carissa. My husband, Carlos Moran, he had RMC 6 months after we got married. And he fought with the cancer for about 3.5 years and passed away this 2020, April 2020. But um, he had treatment, like he had several treatments and he was in remission at one point. So I have, like, if you have any questions, can answer that and talk about the experience and my experience as a caregiver.
Thank you, Carissa, for sharing. Uh, Her and her husband Carlos very instrumental, in helping me along my journey. Pretty much some of the first people I met when I moved down to Houston to MD Anderson, and her husband definitely was a light to me, and definitely had a lot of knowledge, during his battle that helped me out along the way as well. So thank you again, Carissa, for sharing. Um, Nicola, can you kind of share your connection with RMC and kind of introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, I've actually Leon is a contact of mine through the charity I set up after losing Rick in 2019. Obviously, I'm working hard in the UK to raise awareness, funds, and do as much as I can. And I feel I have already since Rick's died. And so yeah, I've introduced Leon to the group and obviously supporting Leon going forward as much as I can. So yeah.
Thank you, Nicola, for sharing your journey and sharing this group with Leon, because it's definitely something that I think can be beneficial to him,
Yeah, definitely.
during his journey.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
do we have Amaka on here? Amaka online?
Hi.
Hey, Amaka. We're kind of just going around and introducing ourselves to Leon. He's a new member of the support group, so we kind of just sharing our journeys and our connection with RMC. Do you mind sharing your journey with him?
Sure, my story, you said. Sorry, you kind of cut it out. You share my story, is that what you said? Can you guys hear me?
Bad feedback.
Amaka, you got bad feedback.
Uh, okay. How about now? Still bad? Is it bad?
We still can't, we still can't hear you, Amaka. Let's
You might talk.
Can I say that it might be a Marcus background that might be affecting it?
okay. She's gonna use her phone. While she's getting set up with her phone, Anna, do you mind kind of sharing your journey and your connection with RMC with Leon?
Hi, Leon. My name is Anna. I'm 43 and I was diagnosed with RMC last year, so May of 2021. And I completed 12 cycles of carboplatin paclitaxel and had kidney surgery last September. I finished my chemo in April. And so I was getting regular follow up, and my last CAT scan showed that I have spots in my liver. And I had another biopsy because I had it checked before, and the biopsy showed that the spots are RMC. So after getting about 2 months of a break from chemo, I'm going to be starting chemo again, probably in the next week or so. It's hard. Before I wasn't considered stage 4, now I am. And so I have 2 kids. I have a 12-year-old and a 7-year-old. I also happen to be a physician, and I was working, and I just stopped working, basically as of today, in order to restart the chemo. And I welcome you to the group.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Anna. I know that's a tough situation, but I got faith that you're a warrior. I think you're gonna overcome it. Just I know it's tough, but just keep on fighting, keep on thinking positive, and keep on moving forward. And I definitely think you can beat this thing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Brian, I think Brian just came in. We're kind of going around introducing ourselves to Leon. He's a new member of our group from the UK. If you can kind of, give a brief introduction and kind of your connection with RMC.
All right. Hey, how's it going, Leon? I was diagnosed with RMC about a year ago. It all started when I started noticing blood in my urine, and went to the doctor. Told me I had a stage 4 cancer, but they thought it was clear cell. Upon further testing, they found out that it was RMC. Went and had a nephrectomy on my left kidney, and pretty much I started chemo right away. I've been on chemo for about a year now, and I'm on my second round of medication. The first round of medication lasted for about 7 or 8 cycles, and then cancer started to resist it a little bit, so they switched it up to gemcitabine and the Red Devil. Can't remember what the technical name for it is. What is it?
Doxorubicin.
Doxorubicin. Yeah. So that's what I'm currently on right now. And right now everything's going pretty well. I had scans about a couple of weeks ago, and everything's stable right now. There's a little bit of shrinkage. My cancer did spread to my lungs and to my liver, but right now everything's stable. and there was a little bit, like I said, there's a little bit of shrinkage, but right now everything's going, as well as can be. So thankful for that. But yeah.
Thanks for sharing your journey, Brian. Quick question for you, Brian. Did you start the radiation, or how did the radiation go?
Yeah, radiation. I did that for about I think it was 4 sessions back in April. They still said it might be too early to see any of the results of the radiation just yet. But until they can actually see something, they're gonna just keep me on chemo and see at a later time if anything else pops up from it.
Gotcha. Do we have Amaka with us?
I'm here. Can you guys not see me?
Oh, okay.
Oh, we
We
could
can
hear you.
hear you clear. Yeah, if you can just give a brief introduction to Leon and kind of share us with your connection with RMC.
Sure. Hi, Leon. My name is Amaka, and I've been battling RMC for a little over a year. Much like I'm sure many of us, it started off with the pain on my right side, which then led to blood in my urine, um, and misdiagnosed. Um, and it was a really extreme pain that brought me back to the ER, and that's when they did the scan and saw that I had a mass. Um, since that point, they did remove my right kidney initially before I started chemo. At that point, they weren't sure. They didn't know it was RMC. They just they knew it was a form of kidney cancer, but they couldn't narrow it down, and they didn't confirm it's RMC till after they removed my right kidney, and I've been receiving chemo treatment since. It's almost exactly a year, actually. I think next week will be a year, and I'm currently on my third line. So now I'm taking Tarceva, which is a daily oral pill. I'm a month into that, so we're not sure yet how it's working. We won't know until I get my scan. I'm hoping to still get to be part of the MD Anderson trial that's coming up in August, hopefully. So still working towards that. But besides that, I've been dealing with all types of pain and trying to get that under control. And I'm just wondering in this group if I can ask a question right now, Andre. Has anyone, whether it's been your loved one or those who are battling RMC, have you guys ever experienced any amount of pain outside of like the flank pain that they talk about? No?
Sorry, I'm not sure. What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like a sharp, um like a level 8 type of pain. I'm just experiencing that in the abdomen, and something I've talked about in this group before. They are thinking that it might be related to my fibroids. It's spread away from that area a little bit, and so I'm just now trying to determine if it's coming from something else, if it's from the cancer itself or having to do with just the fact that we all have the trait. So I'm just wondering if anyone else has ever experienced that level of pain during their journey.
I know Carlos had pretty bad pain with but that was fluid in his lungs, and they said that was caused by the cancer.
Oh, I see.
So I know that was pretty bad.
Mm, okay.
Have they scanned your abdomen, Amaka?
Yeah, it's my abdomen, both my abdomen and actually my back. And it's not, we don't think it's bone necessarily. So it's still that whole trial and error trying to figure out what the source is. But I was just curious if anyone else has experienced that.
Because Chris had excruciating back pain, but it was because of the tumors. And once he started radiation, it subsided because the tumors shrunk.
Okay.
So they're not
Okay.
seeing any tumors or anything in your abdomen or.
Um, there has been growth to my abdomen, but they are saying the size of it is really small, so they don't believe that is the cause of the level of pain that I've been experiencing for the last few months. I'm going to be rescanned soon to see if any new developments have happened, but my scans don't necessarily match my level of pain, so they're just trying to rule things out at this point.
Yeah, can I just say, Mickey had a lot of trouble with his stomach all the way through,
Mm.
right from early diagnosis. That was one of his early symptoms. So
Oh, okay.
I'm not quite sure why, but
Okay. It makes me feel like less crazy to know
yeah.
that someone else has gone through it. It's a lot of back and forth conversation. So,
And
but
I
that's
face.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your story, Amaka, with us this evening. Um, uh, Devon, um, would you like to share your connection with RMC with Leon?
How's everyone doing today?
Good.
Uh,
Good.
I this isn't my first time. This isn't my first time in the group. I believe this is my second meeting with y'all. I'm familiar with Amaka and Miss Johnson, Brian, you as well. I remember seeing you too, Teresa, if I'm not mistaken. As far as my relation to RMC, fortunately, I'm not the one with it. It's my grandfather. He is 60. Is my grandmother 65? Yeah, he's 66, going on 67 years old, I believe. He was diagnosed with RMC, I want to say close to almost a year ago, if not 2 years ago. Um, and yeah, it's been a very roller coaster of a battle. I've watched RMC take a heavy toll on my grandfather. He used to be like 180 pounds. He weighs like 125 now, 127 on a good day. But fortunately, we were able to get him into MD Anderson, the Houston location, and I'm sure, like a lot of you are familiar with Dr. Masul. Dr. Masul has been working very hard to secure my pop's health. And we recently actually got good news, however, that the spread of the cancer in his kidney is actually at a halt right now. And whatever treatment or chemo or medication that they have him undergoing is is looking pretty positive. And and he's showing lots of signs of improvement. So got my pop. Um,
Wonderful.
it's been a really crazy battle. Uh, Amaka, I didn't really know how to answer your question exactly because my pop complains about pain all the time. Oh, my feet, oh, my chest, oh, my back. And I at first I just thought it was just old people pains. You always see old people complaining about the pain that they're going through,
Be
but
careful,
I didn't
Devon.
really.
Talking
They're
about
not
us
old.
old people.
Love
You better be careful.
that. My pop knows. I love him to death. I actually I wanted to get him on the Zoom meeting so that way he could come speak with y'all. But he called me literally like 20 minutes before, and he was just like, "Oh, I'm not really feeling too hot, grandson. I feel kind of bad. I feel sick." So I just told him go ahead and get some rest, and I'll just update y'all as to how he's doing. But yeah, as far as the pain that he's just been experiencing, it didn't click in my head that maybe that were signs from whatever medication or therapy that he was undergoing, that those were the side effects of that. Definitely check in with him. I'm going to MD Anderson with him and my grandmother tomorrow anyway, so I could either ask him or ask one of his doctors. But as far as the cancer aspect, I mean, we go to chemotherapy almost every Friday. Doctors are saying nothing but positive things about his recovery. As far as what he could use more of, it's just a consistent, steady diet, hearty exercise in order to, keep his muscles strong. But his spirit is very much still A plus plus plus. he tells me every time, grandson, I want to live. So, uh, fantastic. He's doing great.
I appreciate you for sharing. Glad that your granddad is doing good. Looking forward to hearing positive news going forward regarding his health. So thank you again for sharing. Um, Samantha and Malik, can you kind of share your connection with RMC with Leon and the rest of the group?
Yeah, this is Malik. I recently, it's been almost a year now, but recently got diagnosed with RMC. Um, I've been through quite a bit. At first I was on a clinical trial with Princess Margaret Hospital, and now I'm on chemo. I'm on paclitaxel, and I can't remember what the other chemo drug is, but yeah, I'm on that recently right now. I recently just did last Friday my fourth round of chemo, so that's all new to me. But um, this month and next month, I'm doing like the first scans of coming up since I just started chemo. So I don't really know where I am currently right now, but I will know what's up to come in the next few months in regard to how I've been handling with the chemo and everything.
Thank you, Malik, for sharing your journey. Um, Ms. Ritchie, you want to give a quick intro to Leon and kind of give your backdrop and your connection to RMC?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Richie, of course, and I am the president and founder of the Chris C.J. Johnson Foundation, as well as with working with Ann Ken to start this RMC support group, which is really the only support group that we have in the world that's exclusive for patients with RMC. In 2011, my son was 38 years old and diagnosed with renal medullary carcinoma after several visits to the physician. It wasn't until he had blood in his urine and they did the CT scan that they found a tumor in his right kidney. Now, it'll be 10 years in September since he passed. He did live 15 months at the time Chris was diagnosed. It was believed that he would only live 3 to 4 months. He did fine for 12 months, and after that time, we didn't have any other treatment modalities available to him, and therefore he passed away 3 months after that. So a total of 15 months we spent together. I am a registered nurse by profession, and this is something Chris wanted. He noticed a lack of advocacy, and that if we had advocacy, then maybe more patients would be diagnosed sooner and then have a better survival rate. So I'm here to support each and every one of you. I know all of you. Anna, my heart goes out to you, but I can tell you this is just a minor setback. You will beat this. I know it's hard, but you're going to get through it, and we're going to help you get through it. So we're here. I'm here for everyone. Nicola, she and I connected after Ricky passed. So we found that if we work together as a team, it's more substance. And getting the word out, it's going to require a village. No man is an island. So we welcome suggestions. We're open for any and everything. And I just welcome each one of you. Our group continue to grow. It's not a good thing that it continues to grow, but at least we know that we're here to support you, because we want to see this group shrink, to be honest with you. We want to see it shrink. We want a cure for REMC. But I know there are great things in the pipeline. I've talked to Dr. Masal. They're working tirelessly on new treatments to eventually cure REMC. So that's my little spiel. I'm turning my pain into purpose.
Pain to purpose. That's great. Appreciate you, Miss Ritchie, and all that you do, for all of us. So definitely appreciate your hard work. Um, so we're gonna go around and if you got any questions for the group or any questions or concerns or comments, feel free. This is your opportunity to ask questions and learn as much as you can about the treatments and the journeys of others. So, um, Leon, do you have any questions or anything to add to the group or um, about the beginning of anyone's journey or anything like that?
Yeah, it was an eye opening. Like just more just trying to digest a lot of what you were saying and different places that people are, and yeah, it's yeah, because I felt a lot of what everyone was saying. Um, it's yeah, I think we're a lot much more behind than you are in the US here because my doctor, my oncologist, doesn't know much more like in terms of what to do and things like that. That's why Nicola has been really helpful with her direction and bringing me to the group and trying to see what more we can do to try and help and solve things. It's yeah, it's a tricky one. It's if it's difficult to talk about because obviously it's the biggest killer in the world, isn't it? Pretty much, and you know, there's so many different aspects to it. It's some real, and obviously we have this thing which, unfortunately, you have signs of like cancer and things like that, but they don't know about it. And like literally, I went months and months without being diagnosed, which is just crazy. Now that you've said all these different things and kidney removal and things like that, things for me like this, um, you know, because I was really sick for me when I was initially had my treatment, so they didn't necessarily want to do much to me to just try the chemo as a punt, and I went from being in a wheelchair to being a bit more active, but still, obviously, I still got it within me, and obviously different sites as well. So it's not really an easy. Yes, I've been getting better, but there's going to be a limit or a cap to that. Um, so for me, it seems like I think everyone seems to have got the kidney removal, which is I just want to ask: is that something that Dr. Masood, is that something that he advocates and things like that?
Um, in my case, I got my kidney removed first, and then I moved to Houston and went to MD Anderson and went through chemo. I think a number of us on here though, I think they started chemo first and then got the kidney removed. Anna, ain't that what happened in your situation, Anna?
Yes, I started with 4 rounds of paclitaxel and carboplatin, and then they saw shrinkage, and then I had my kidney removed. But I think I already had spread to my liver. They just hadn't noticed it.
Okay. Um,
It was like that for me as well. I was had my kidney removed. I first started with pain in my side, and then I got my kidney removed, and then I was diagnosed. They did the biopsy straight from the radical nephrectomy.
yeah. Same here with me, Malik. I found out I had RMC after they removed my kidney. So that's when I kind of found out I had RMC, and Leon, and I think a number of us on here has been, I know when I first noticed flank pain and stuff, I got misdiagnosed as well. They thought it was kidney stones and an infection and other things like that. So I think it's pretty common. So that's why raising awareness, you know, with people with the sickle cell trait is very important. So when you do notice these symptoms, you can kind of kind of get ahead of the curve and, get started on your treatment early, you'll have, a better chance to beat this thing. So that's why this group and, the CJ Foundation and everything that Nicola is doing in the UK, is very important, spreading awareness and, try to get a jump on this thing before it gets, too out of hand.
Yeah, I feel a bit like for me, it might be too long down the road. So I'm not saying I'm a martyr or anything like that, but I don't know whether or not it's going to be. Yes, I've had some success, but to fully recover, I wouldn't. Well, it's difficult because obviously I've been on pretty much an island until I've met Nicola and things. Well, for me personally, I've just been thinking, well, it's probably not going to work out for me, but it probably hopefully work out for others in my community, and then hopefully raise awareness more, as it were, as opposed to me recovering fully to the point of it being gone. So I've kind of, I don't know if making a peace or anything like that, but it's just that's the kind of mindset that I have.
Yeah.
We're going to change that, Leon, though, aren't we? We're going to change your mindset.
Well, yeah, I'm not here to like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not saying I'm here to bull anyone,
yeah,
but I just feel like, well, it might just be too far gone for me. Even though I'm feeling better and doing better in certain things, it doesn't mean that I'm going to continue. Like Richie was saying earlier, it was about her son at her point being well for a period of time, and then you eventually, but that's why the group's here to try and obviously to have that stay, and the questions are important to feel and understand what other people are going through, and then hopefully guiding not just myself but my doctor as well, because we just don't
yeah.
have the information here.
Yeah, so hopefully, Richie, now Dr. Masool's going to help. He's quite happy to advise for Leon. When the oncologist decides to get in touch, we've passed over the information today to Leon's oncologist. So hopefully she will contact Pavlos and he's happy to help. Of course he is, he's just an amazing guy, Unfortunately, we found him too late for Ricky, but I'm pretty sure he just fights for everybody, doesn't he? He's just
Yeah, that definitely was gonna be my next question, Nicola. Was his
yeah,
doctor connected with Dr. Masal? Because I
yes,
think pretty
yeah.
important.
We had it was really good. We had the trust had a meeting with him a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, he gave up some time for us, and yeah, we're gonna work together even more. Hopefully, all of us, and so I think hopefully if Leon's oncologist acts fast, hopefully in the next couple of days, Dr. Masool's he works fast himself, doesn't he? It's very fast paced. I think hopefully we can get Leon sorted for the next stage.
Yeah, I want to,
We
Leon, just don't give up because I mean there are some
no,
people that they didn't think their loved one was going to make it the next day, and they're still doing well. I would say Nicholas over in Colombia, they had sort of given up on Nicholas. He was 12 at the time of diagnosis, and now is doing very, very well. So I don't want you to give up and give in to REMC. You just have to keep fighting, and then when you get tired, we'll fight for you.
That's right. That's right. Because all they gave me was 4 months to live. And that was 3 years ago. So um, and I think I have tried about every chemo regimen out there. Um, pretty much, I pretty much done tried them all. Um, and I had some setbacks, but I just kept looking forward to a positive outcome. So that definitely, I think, being in the right mental space. Because this journey is not, I'm not saying it's going to be an easy journey, but you just gotta, continue to stay positive and keep driving and pushing forward, and you can make it. You can make it out on the other end. Um, I did about 4 different chemo treatments, chemo regimens, um, immunotherapy, radiation. So until they finally told me my scans are clear. So definitely keep fighting and keep pushing forward. And we gonna keep supporting you here every month in this group. So any questions or anything like that, let us know, because that's what we're here for. Um, so
I'm
thank you.
glad you're on, Andre, because at least you had 4 months, didn't you? And then look at you now. So
Mhm.
I just was hoping you was going to be on so Leon could see that, and you was really poorly, and that's just living proof.
That's right.
Just
Thank
to
you.
add to what everyone is saying, too, one thing my aunt said to me in the beginning of this journey, which I hold dear to right now, is it really is a mental game. I mean, obviously the physical part is up there too, but the mental piece of this is huge. Our brain is powerful.
Mhm.
So, when we tell ourselves negative things, it definitely manifests in our bodies. So, my aunt always reminds me to make sure, as much as I can, with support and help on all those things, to keep my mental game and my mental head strong in this battle.
Right. That's right. Thank you, Amaka, for sharing that piece. Um, and I had a question for you, Anna. Have your doctors discussed radiation at all, or has that been a subject for your treatment?
Yeah, I talked to my oncologist about it, and I think Dr. Masal had also kind of mentioned it because there's a certain kind of radiation that you can do to the liver that's like targeted just at the spots, because my spots are still pretty little. Um, but my oncologist thinks, and I think Dr. Masal thinks so too, that I probably have meds somewhere else. We just can't see them on the scans. And so that's why they think that it's better to start with a different chemotherapy regimen um, instead of just doing the radiation. And my oncologist said that he thought, even if I did radiation, I would still have to do chemo too. Like I would have to do both, kind
Yeah.
of like
So
you did.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. So I did chemo in conjunction with radiation. So that was kind of like my last regimen before I had my clear scan. So they really targeted those specific lymph nodes. So I had some lymph node that was real resistant to the cancer. So they targeted those with the radiation while still being on chemo to kind of, I guess, keep other other places in control or whatever. So um, definitely, I think that can be just a helpful combination for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm I'm open to whatever they tell me to do. It was hard to be on chemo for a whole year,
Mhm.
but at least I got, like 2 months to recover, and my numbers are back to normal. My energy's improved, so that's good, I think. Um, and I feel really blessed because my oncologist is like really working hard. Like he came to see me personally when he got the results, and he has been back and forth with Dr. Masal. And so I just count, I think that's another blessing, to have somebody that's also really pulling for you as your doctor. So I'm lucky.
We're here to continue to support you and uplift you and help you along this journey. I know it's tough, um, hearing that news or whatever, but um, like I said before, a positive mindset and keep pushing, and he definitely can come out on the other end of things.
I always
Um,
think about you, Andre.
definitely come out on the other end. Uh,
Because I think about how you made it through. So, the rest of us have to make it through too.
yeah.
Mm.
And next month, I get to ring the bell, for the first time. Um, definitely looking forward. Definitely looking forward to that next
Can you
month.
record it?
Say again.
Can you record it?
I can. I'm gonna have some family down, so they definitely gonna get some videos and stuff.
So you're ringing the bell for because it's
So um, with RMC, so Dr. Sal, he didn't want me to, like, when I got my first clear scan or whatever. He didn't want me to ring the bell at that time because there's a highly likelihood that it may come back. So he wanted a specific period of time, about 2 years, And I kept asking him, every time I go in for a scan, if I can ring the bell. So he finally told me the last time I saw him. He said, so this time I come in for my scans, I'll be able to ring the bell. Since it's been almost 2 years.
that's great. Please share that with us.
Most definitely will. Most definitely will. Brian, do you got anything to add this evening, or any concerns or comments or questions for the group?
Not really. Like I said, last scans were stable and pretty good. My hemoglobin seems to be going up. Um, I was hovering around like 7 or 8-ish right now. Last time, I think last Friday, because I had chemo this past Friday, it was like at a 10.2, I want to say, which is pretty high. It hasn't been that high in a while.
Mm.
So that's good. All my blood work is looking pretty good these days. So like, looks like we're heading in the right direction. So
Brian, can I ask you, how are your side effects on that regimen? Because that's what I'm gonna be on.
so at first it was so it started off being okay, and then around uh my third session, I got really sick and ended up in a hospital, and they ended up reducing my dose because I'd lost weight. I lost like maybe almost 20 pounds since I started. And ever since I reduced my dose, I've been doing pretty well. I have some nausea. Typically, I have some nausea and just a little fatigue, but that's usually the two main side effects I have. Nothing too bad right now. So,
Do you know if that other drug is something called ixazomib?
uh, it was something with an X, so it might be.
IX.
It is.
Yeah,
It
something
is.
with. I know there's something with an X in it. Vanessa would know better than I would.
It is. Because I was trying to get into the trial that Brian is currently in. It is the one with the X, Brian.
Okay,
Okay.
that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let me.
Because
I don't know the name of my medication. I just take them.
I know. Plus, they make these really weird names. But because I'm going to be on something called Velcade, which is not ixazomib, but it's kind of similar. So I just wanted to know because I'll ask about that. And
Yeah,
then,
they actually ended up lowering my dose on that too. And I think that maybe I might have gotten sick is because of the trial drug when I ended up
Mm,
in the hospital, like during the walk. Um, but I think they lowered it from like 6 milligrams to like 4, and I've been doing pretty good with it. So
Do you get it every 2 weeks?
Yeah, so every chemo session is every 2 weeks for me. So I take it, you know, right before they start me on the gemcitabine and everything else. So
Okay. So they infuse it at the same time as the other ones.
so what they do is they give it to me in a pill form, and
Oh,
I take it about an hour before they start everything else. They give me like an hour to let it absorb, so they make sure I don't eat like in like 2 hours before I take it, and then after an hour they start me on everything else.
got it. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
So there is another, as I mentioned earlier, another trial through MD Anderson for immunotherapy, and definitely don't remember the names of the drugs. I was really hoping to get into the one that Brian is in, but unfortunately I wasn't qualified. So it's a potential that maybe Anna. And I'm hoping, crossing fingers, that I get accepted. So one of the things I think about when we're thinking about all the lines of treatments and losing hope, I force myself to remember that there's still options. And I know, Leon, you are across the sea and you're really far, so I don't know what the likelihood is for you to be able to come here for a trial. But thinking about trials gives me a little bit more hope to try to, fight this thing.
Yeah, just to respond to that, yeah, that was the next thing that they're talking about trials, but like you say, in the UK, uh, there's
There is
not.
none.
I think, yeah, Nicola knows. Nicola can tell you a little bit more than I
No,
can.
that's the problem. It's really difficult for me because, like, obviously we didn't even have this when Ricky got diagnosed. We didn't have anybody. I think the only support I had was Cora Connor, that I used to speak to in the middle of the night and try to get some information from her. And the doctors and didn't know anything. So there's no trials, there's nothing in the UK at the minute, and that's basically what I'm trying to change. But obviously it costs a lot of money, so I'm constantly raising funds and like Richie will see, I don't know whether any of you follow us on social media, but I'm constantly raising awareness, and it is working because when I first set up the charity, I remember people saying it's that rare, you're not going to get any contact, and I had almost immediately somebody contact me. Unfortunately, we lost. And then I've had another guy. I've had probably 3 or 4 people contact me since Ricky died. So to me, that just shows it. It's just silent to me. It's not rare. It's just silent, and nobody knows about it, especially the links. And I think we will make a difference eventually in the UK, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be a long battle, but I won't give up, as Richie knows.
It's also misdiagnosed often, I think. People think it's something else and then it's not
Yeah,
until they pass
exactly.
away.
Yeah. So I think it starts at the GP really, that the links between, when you turn up with your symptoms, they didn't link the two with the sickle cell trait and signs, symptoms. So it took Rick, similar to Leon, 5 months of constant deterioration and, before they even did a kidney biopsy. So, yeah, it's just shocking really, the whole thing.
It's definitely misdiagnosed because the
Yeah.
lack of awareness is in education. Education is power.
Yeah,
So,
and that's the problem even with the oncologists. They get to a certain stage now in the UK, and because of the NHS, we are stuck with what we can do. That's our problem at the minute. you know, you've got to follow certain rules, and but hopefully the more people that know about it, the more people are getting diagnosed, or everybody, you know, is going to work together, and it's going to get more data, and yeah.
It will.
Leon, what kind of medications or chemo have you been on, or are you on now?
I'm currently, well, I'm not an expert with the treatment. I've been on it. I did recognize some of the names when you were saying them, but again, it's limited information that we have over here. So I've been 6 months of treatment. I know this much. 'Cause initially, I was that bad they didn't want to give me anything to begin
Hmm.
with. So yeah, I wasn't even meant to make it past the year last year, but that's another thing. But yeah, so got to this point now where again it's just all shocks and surprises really, because they're not really particularly, they don't know what pathway to go down. So it's like, it's can you it's here, it's unfortunate, it's not, you guys have trials, but unfortunately here, it's not saying it's not a death sentence or anything like that, but we don't necessarily have a pathway beyond at this moment in time. So it's I don't know, it's an interesting one to see what the next steps are going to be for me.
Because so I'm not in MD Anderson. I live in California, and so I was the regimen I was on is paclitaxel and carboplatin, which are very old chemotherapies that they will have in the UK. And then what I'm gonna start, that gemcitabine and doxorubicin are also old chemotherapies that should
Yeah,
be available in the UK. And
Yeah,
they're
they are.
in
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
probably what
recognize
you're
that too.
on. Yeah, that is
Mhm.
yeah.
probably the regime you're on, because Ricky was.
Yeah, and then the third drug is a medicine called Velcade, which is used for multiple myeloma. It's not as old as those regimens. It's relatively newer, but it's not so new that it's like experimental. Um, and so what I'm trying to say is that it's not just the brand new drugs and new immunotherapies. There's also old stuff. It's just that nobody's figured out what's the right thing to treat RMC and what's going to hit it the hardest, right? And some things like with Andre, he had to get different types of things at different times. Where like kind of with HIV, where you kind of have to attack with multiple drugs to kill the cells. So I still think that you could take there's treatment options for you, even though you do have the NHS that's going to have certain rules. You may not have access to the latest things, but there's still old stuff that can work in this cancer. And Dr. Masal has consulted with people all over the world, and as Richie was saying, there's a young child, Nico, whose parents sometimes join our group, and he's in remission, and he's in Colombia, and those doctors there were able to get him on a regimen that worked for him. So I think it's just a question of finding the right regimen for you. Um,
To add to
even
that,
though
I think
you're yeah, sorry. So even though you are part of the NHS, which does a lot of good things.
I think part of it too is finding the right doctors who are willing to center your care and fight for you. That's been my challenge. I just recently switched to a new oncologist because my previous one I didn't feel as though he was centering my care. So I think that's also a barrier for us, is finding those doctors, even if they don't know or are not familiar with RMC, but they're willing to do the research and do the extra whatever it is to make sure that they are giving us all of our available options.
Yeah, I agree totally. It's your doctor. I think my doctor's been okay, but again, just doesn't know enough to help. And it's like I can see it in her face sometimes.
Yeah.
She she's trying, but she just doesn't
Yeah.
know. So it was really good that she was able to forward me the trust that Nicola's created, and I think that's probably been one of the biggest things she's done, despite the treatment, because or else I wish would have never known, and I just would have disappeared. just like a few other people that have had the same thing as me. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, just remember, Leon, that if that Ricky's doctor, Tom, Dr. Waddle, is at the Christie. He treated Ricky. He's on board with me, with the trust. If you ever feel you're not quite happy with who you've got, the Christie, it's well within your rights to ask to, for a second opinion, to speak to another doctor. You can push and push and push. You need to not be quiet at all in any of it. Um, and that's
yeah,
basically what I did. That's how I got known in that hospital.
yeah,
So you've got to do you've got to, and if you can't do it, I'm sure your Auntie Jackie will do it for you, and I'll help you as much as I can, and um,
yeah.
you're
I
not
think
on
it's
your
right.
own.
Yeah, because like originally, like like I said, it's when they said they could help me originally, it was rough. So it was a
Yeah.
rough conversation to have. I had to show and be creative myself to get myself into the position that I'm in today, or else,
Yeah.
yeah, this would have been. And I'm due for another biopsy in the next few weeks. But now with things that you've been telling me, I'm thinking, well, do I need to do something a bit more extreme than that? And get sort of push for something more, i.e., get it out of my system to begin with. So, yeah, it's something that's floating around my head where I need to have a strong conversation about should the kidney still be there to begin with, and then going from that point.
Yeah. I know, and it's exhausting to, do all this pushing and lifting and advocating when you want to center your energy into fighting this thing. So I totally feel you on that. Thanks to this group, they helped motivated me to amplify my voice and to make sure that if I'm not happy with the doctor that I had, to switch. Anna and Rick and Ricky, Richie, excuse me, were able to connect me to this awesome oncologist that I have now. So I'm so happy you have Nicola that can speak, names of doctors that have been true and that are willing to help, because that can set you off on the path if you have someone that's just not in your corner. So I'm happy you are pushing and advocating for yourself.
And I think that's one of the things with cancer. Sometimes as patients, we may hesitate and say, well, I don't want to speak up. I don't want to make people upset. But with this cancer, I feel like we go to the front of the line. Like, this is a horrible cancer. It is one of the worst. And when we're not okay, it shouldn't be okay. Like, we shouldn't have to wait. We shouldn't have, and I have to do it all the time. Unfortunately, I'm in medicine, so I get the backline phone number. I find the right nurse, I find the right receptionist to get me, the appointments. But it takes skill. It takes a lot of energy, and it's hard to be your own advocate. But it's okay. We have to do it. We have a rough cancer, and most people are not dealing with what we are dealing with.
Um, I definitely agree with that, Anna. Definitely got to be a advocate for for yourself, because it is tough. It is a tough cancer. Um, I think we have a caller on the line. Do we have a caller on the line that want to introduce yourself?
They're listed as B12 unless it's someone is using their telephone and something else. It says waiting for B10.
Oh, okay.
You think I can close them out and see what happens?
Carissa, you got anything you want to share with the group this evening?
Yeah, so I'm hosting a celebration of life for Carlos, to celebrate his life, and it's going to be on October 1st. and we're gonna live stream it. So if any of you guys want to join, it'll be like 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10 p.m. So if any of you guys want to join, that will just be celebrating his life and, remembering him. If anybody wants to join.
Okay. That was October the 1st at what time, Chris? Can you put
5
that in the
p.m.
chat?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to say thank you to Nicola and Miss Ritchie for your advocacy. We are all much better because you are fighting for us. And you don't have to do this, but you do. And it says a lot about who you are. Um, and I'm just so grateful that you do what you do because you're touching people's lives and in many ways saving them. So thank you.
Thank you, Anna. You make
Thank
my life
you.
a lot easier.
Hmm.
You really do.
So sweet, Miss Ritchie.
When we could put a smile on your face, that gives me peace and satisfaction.
Yes, you
Know that
always do.
I'm able to help someone. You know,
Yes,
so
you do.
you guys are my family. You know how sensitive I am. So I love each and every one of you. And
I wanted to second that too, Ms. Ritchie.
who was that?
I wanted to second that too. I wanted to extend my thanks out to you as well. For a while now, this RMC has just been, it just came out of nowhere, and me or my family didn't exactly really know who to turn to. So the fact that we came across you when we did, and we were able to discover this group, uh, it was already great enough just hearing my pop's progress and just celebrating it for myself, for my family. But knowing that his victories also spell out victories for anybody else and for everyone else, I'm glad that we came across this group because, Miss Ritchie, you spoke with my pop over the phone, and you kind of get a grasp of his character. So seeing how positive he was and knowing that there's other people out there who can resonate with that positivity or resonate with his victories, uh, it really does mean a lot. And I'm glad that we came across you as well.
Thank you.
Hey, Rick, how's it going?
It's going. How is everybody? Sorry it's taken me so long to get over here today. I got hung up in the MS meeting and the one
Oh,
before that. There's some names I haven't even seen before. This is great. I'm delighted. Amaka, hello. Dr. A, hello.
we're all over the world tonight.
We
I
do, Rick. We do have a new member to the support group, Leon
Hi, Rick.
from the UK.
Oh, yeah, and yeah, I see Nicola. And Nicola, we have somebody else from the UK who's up in the middle of the night. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, Leon.
Hello,
Yeah,
Leon.
and
How are you,
Jackie,
man?
his support, his auntie.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's great to see you,
Yeah,
Nicola.
and you, and you.
It's really good to see you. Yeah, I'll shut up. We'll get back to your meeting, Alyssa. I think you probably heard that Alexa is having a tough time. He was overnight in the hospital, and then they gave her some antibiotics that she has not responded well to. So she's struggling right now with rash and this and that, but I think she's getting better.
That's good. We'll keep her lifted in prayer. And
Definitely,
I'll
Thank
try.
definitely,
you. Yeah,
definitely
send
gonna
her a
keep them
note
on.
and tell her and wish her better. She's working still. She's doing stuff for us, but she's not a happy camper.
I can only imagine.
Oh man.
Going up a
Yeah.
little bit. We've had a great meeting tonight, and I wanted to also share that I know Clarissa mentioned that she's doing a celebration of life for Carlos October 1st. We will also be celebrating our 10th year anniversary as a foundation, as well as Chris's. If he was here, he would be 50 years old. So we will have a celebration here in Houston. We're trying to find a venue. It will be on November 19th, hopefully. So I'll keep you guys updated. We're just really looking forward to it. And I know we have to celebrate big because this is what he would want. He, I know, is so thrilled with where we are today and how we're helping others. And this is what he wanted. All right, Andre.
Can you add that to the chat, Miss Ritchie?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll have to see. That it would be a good excuse for me to get out to Houston and to meet you all. It's right
Definitely.
after my birthday as well, so I think we've
That would be
discussed that
great.
before. So
That would be great.
I definitely got to come out to that, Miss Ritchie.
Okay, I'll be looking for you for sure. I think it's going to be
Hey,
nice. I'm trying to get it together.
I have a question before. Captain, how are you doing with your job search? Anything good coming on?
So I started a trucking business a little while
Oh,
back.
right,
Yeah,
right.
so, I'm trying to work for myself here and get that going. So that's been new business. You got your ups and downs, but it's going pretty good.
Good. Okay. Will I be seeing Sneed trucks going up and down I-19 to the produce? Because I live right by a freeway that's really busy because the produce warehouses are about 10 miles down the road. So, maybe I'll be looking for Sneed trucks.
Need logistics coming to an area near you. Okay.
Okay.
It was so good to see everyone. I think everybody got a chance to share. Does anyone have any questions, any other questions, concerns, or comments before we wrap up for tonight?
Jackie, are you okay? Have you got any questions about anything?
I did have a question actually. I had a few questions as lots of things were going on, but the one that
Yeah.
stuck with me um, is, do you know, with RMC, they they say that the gene that's supposed to suppress the cancer is got a name called INI1, but it's not just RMC that gene's missing from, but it is something that's missing. What makes the cancer keep growing because that gene isn't there to suppress it. So, what I'd like to ask you, please, Miss Ritchie, is that something that the people who you're in contact with are looking at, or not? And have you even? I'm presuming that you know about that gene.
Yeah, I think you're talking about that was it smart B1, Anna?
Yes.
Gene that is missing, that they
Yeah.
found it to be a common thing, a common thread for all patients that are diagnosed with REMC. And
Yeah.
yes, they have
Yeah.
identified that and continue to research.
Okay. So they've not like genetically modified the gene that is that something that the trials look at? I'm wondering.
They
Yeah.
they are definitely looking at that.
Okay. Okay. Great. That's great. And can I
They
quickly say, thank you very much to all of you. It's to me, it's just like a godsend that Nicola came to Leon and that you are all telling your stories. And if there's one thing that you're not able to say anymore, Leon, is that nobody knows what you're going through because you've got this community of people here who've shared with you, and you've got the opportunity to share deeper with them, and for you to be able to use each other in the way that you have been doing. And I just think it's really beautiful. Yeah, and thank you to everybody, you in particular, Miss Ritchie, but all of yous in your own right. And yeah,
Thank
thanks for
you.
allowing me to be part of it as well. I appreciate that.
For sure. I just want Leon to know that he is not alone, because I do know what it feels like to be alone. 10 years ago, I didn't have this support group. I had a beautiful family that was supportive. I even had a church family. But it's nothing if you don't have a group that truly, truly understand the journey that you're on. So it is such a blessing to have such great group of people that are really understanding and willing to share their stories and support you all the way. So you're not alone. We're here to lift you up.
Thanks, thank you. I know I sound a bit despondent, but it's just obviously it's just processing.
It takes time. It takes
Definitely,
time.
definitely understand, Leon. But that's what this group is here for, to uplift you and support you, along your journey. Um, so I definitely.
Yeah,
Leon, I just want to say that first of all, when you get diagnosed with any cancer, you're a bit like a deer caught in the headlights to begin with. It doesn't matter what the cancer is. And RMC is a tough cancer. We all know that. This group that you have here are phenomenal because I've seen them in action. They're amazing. And I would say every person that's sitting here is available to you anytime. And if you need to use a room to talk to them, then Miss Ritchie will let me know and we'll make a room available, a virtual room available to you so you can talk to them so you don't have to get up in the middle of the night. Because I get that too, because I've done it, because I've moderated meetings from the UK when I've been back visiting with friends and family. So I really get it. We can make these rooms available to you. All you got to do is let us know through Nicola or to Richie and who you'd like to talk to, and we'll connect you to Carissa, and we'll connect you to Dr. Anna, and we'll connect you to Amica and to Captain Andre and all these great folks who are in here. It would be our privilege to do it. So I just want to say that. I have a quick question for Jack. Would you be good enough just to put that gene mutation in the chat window? Because I just want to take a quick look at it and see if I can find anything
Yeah,
out
I will
about
do.
it. Thanks a lot.
and it's a lot to process for you, Leon, because yesterday, really, you didn't have, up until yesterday, you just had the Christie, didn't you? You just had the doctor, and then next minute you were speaking to me, and then you're here. So, it's literally, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be looked after.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
If I also could say as well, not only just you, Leon, but directed to everybody else in this group, uh, watching my pop fight through RMC, it's been to the point where he was hospitalized, and we didn't know what the outcome was going to be. Um, Doctors, nurses, they didn't know what was going on. But now, fast forward to today, if you were to ask my pop, hey pop, hey Kevin, how you doing? He'll do a little dance for you. Regardless of wherever his body took him physically, spiritually, and mentally. There was no question, there was no option of giving up. It was always a fight. And the fact that regardless of what's going on around him, he has surrounded himself with people who love him, who motivate him, and that helps uplift him. So if you have people in your life who do that for you, who make you want to get up and make the most out of make the most out of life. Surround yourself with those people, you know, and really bask in their warmth and their love, because I'm telling you, that's what's going to get you through.
Thanks.
No problem.
Thank you. Yeah. One thing has just occurred to me. We have so many people that join this group who are in Europe, and on other timelines. But maybe we'll talk. I'll talk to Alexa and to Richie. But maybe we can add a second meeting during the month, Richie, that works with your schedule. That is an earlier meeting in the day for us. That would make it easier on. Because I'm sure also that Nicola's got other people that she's dealing with in the UK and Europe. And if we could make a meeting time that was easier for them, we'd be happy to do that. So to allow them to connect so they don't have to get up in the middle of the night. What do you think, Nicola?
Yeah, at the moment, fortunately, or unfortunately, there's only Leon that, and one other person, David, in the UK that's connected to us that have got RMC that we know about in the UK. David's doing well at the moment. He contacted me last year, and then there's just been Leon. So, but yeah, I mean, it's like nearly 3 a.m. for us in the UK
I
now.
know. I get it. I get it, love. I get it, darling. I mean, I know it's.
It's difficult, but once anything be helpful, yeah, I'm sure for Leon as well. And
Well, we'll talk, and maybe if we did it on a Friday or the weekend, Richie, then it would also be good because it would give another opportunity for some of the US people to come in, and we can do that. And then of course, poor Louise, is it Louise? In Greece, what's her name?
Lois.
Lois.
Lois. I think that she might.
it may be
She
that
might.
yeah, maybe that our oncologist who's on the trust would come into the group more, because he won't get up this time in the morning. But maybe if it's a normal time, he'd probably join at the weekend or something, so that might be helpful.
Maybe we can look at maybe doing a Saturday because I know some people do work. So we may can look at doing maybe a Saturday morning for us, which would be an evening for you guys.
Yeah, Saturday or Sunday might work. But we'll get on it. We'll get on it, and over the next 30 days, we'll try and work something out. I'm making a note, and I'll speak with Alexa in the morning about a possible second meeting, because it's been on my mind that a second meeting might not be a bad thing. I don't know if we did it at the weekend, then it might also allow some of the American folks to drop by, and whatever we can do. Right?
That's right. We're on it.
We're on it.
Well, I
There's
miss
no wasted effort. No.
All righty. So, Andre, you gonna close it out?
Yes. Once again, glad to see everyone this evening. Leon, we are definitely here for you. This support group, that's what it's about, uplifting everyone through this journey. So RMC is obsolete. So that's the goal. So yeah, good to see everyone. It's Richie. That's it. That's all I have.
And I wanted to let you know real quickly too. Milton and I we found a bill in New Jersey that is talking about establishing a central registry for sickle cell trait and education. And they're looking, well, the way they've addressed the bill, it's going to cost quite a bit of money to put in employees to actually monitor a central registry. So we are looking at this bill and coming up with some amendments to this bill. I also plan to meet with Al Green. I think we have a foot in the door to get him to truly understand REMC and maybe can amend the Byron Nash bill or maybe even combine these bills into one so that we can have some substance. So I want to let you know from the legislative side, we are working on things too. So Milton is heavily involved in that. So we're hoping that eventually we'll have some news to give you. And that's all I have. I think it's been a great meeting. It's been, oh, Karen is on and we just didn't. Hey, Karen.
Karen,
Hi guys, how are you?
hey, we're doing good. How are you?
I'm good, doing well. I have my scans tomorrow and I see Dr. Tanir on Thursday, so just keeping a positive spirit that all is well.
It will be clear. We
Yep,
already know it. We claim it.
Right.
amen.
Ma'am. Okay. So
Looking forward to those positive updates next month, Karen.
that's right. Okay, you guys. Well, have a good night. It's been great. I'm going to stop the recording now.